I walked into a Rolex store with enough money to buy the watch. The salesman looked at me for a long second. Then he said, "Come back in 5 years." I thought he was joking. He wasn't. I stood there holding a price tag for a steel sports watch that costs less than many used cars, yet I could not take it home. Not today, not next month, maybe not for years. That moment stayed with me, so I started investigating. What I discovered is that Rolex does not really sell watches the way most companies sell products. It sells something far more powerful. It sells waiting. If you enjoy uncovering hidden business systems like this, subscribe. We find one every week. I began by looking at the numbers. Rolex produces roughly 1 million to 1.2 million watches every year. That is an enormous number for a luxury brand. It is more than Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, and Vacheron Constantin combined. Yet for certain models, the wait stretches into years. I found the contradiction immediately. Most of the catalog is available with little or no delay. Datejusts, many explorers, plenty of Oyster Perpetuals. The shortage is concentrated. A small group of steel sports models carries almost the entire myth of impossibility. The Cosmograph Daytona, certain GMT Master II references, specific Submariners. These are the watches people talk about. These are the ones that create the legend. There is no official Rolex waitlist, no central computer, no ticket number that tells you where you stand. Each authorized dealer keeps its own private interest list and decides who receives an allocation. The decision almost always favors customers who have already bought from that store. Purchase history becomes more valuable than cash. I thought this system was temporary, a post-pandemic imbalance that would eventually correct itself. It wasn't. The waits existed long before 2020. The pandemic only made them impossible to ignore. Then I found something even stranger. Rolex does not sell watches directly to the public. Every new Rolex must pass through an authorized dealer. Rolex controls how many of each model each dealer receives. The dealers then control who gets offered those pieces. 2 layers of control, 2 opportunities to create scarcity. A single dealer might receive only a handful of steel Daytonas in an entire year. Against hundreds of people asking for one, most will never get the call. I kept digging into the company's history. Hans Wilsdorf was born in Bavaria in 1881. Orphaned young, he was raised by relatives and later moved to Switzerland and England. He was not born into watchmaking royalty. He was a young man with an idea that seemed almost naive at the time. In the early 1900s, wristwatches were still considered feminine. Serious men wore pocket watches. Wilsdorf believed the opposite. He believed a watch on the wrist could be accurate, durable, and trustworthy. He founded a company that would eventually become Rolex and set out to prove it. He funded research. He pushed for precision. In 1910, a Rolex became the first wristwatch to receive the Swiss Certificate of Chronometric Precision. 4 years later, a Rolex received a Class A certificate from the Kew Observatory in Britain, an honor previously reserved for marine chronometers. Then came the moment that still feels almost cinematic. In 1927, a young British swimmer named Mercedes Gleitz attempted to swim the English Channel. She wore a Rolex Oyster. The watch stayed sealed. It kept time. When she emerged, the story traveled around the world. Wilsdorf had turned a technical achievement into a public legend. The waterproof watch was no longer a claim. It was a demonstrated fact. I sat with that story for a long time. A company that began by fighting for the simple idea that a wristwatch could be taken seriously had, over decades, transformed into something else entirely. Reliability became desirability. Desirability became scarcity. Scarcity became status. The ownership structure matters more than most people realize. Rolex is owned by a private foundation established by Wilsdorf. There are no public shareholders demanding higher volume every quarter. No quarterly pressure to flood the market. This freedom allows the company to choose long-term brand power over short-term sales growth. Most companies cannot make that choice. Rolex can. What would you do if a dealer told you the watch you wanted might take 5 years? Let me know in the comments. I spoke with people who had waited. One collector described visiting the same store for 3 years. He bought other pieces. He built a relationship. He waited. When the call finally came for the steel sports model he wanted, the watch felt different. It was no longer just an object. It was proof that he had been patient enough, connected enough, chosen. Another buyer told me he eventually paid a significant premium on the gray market just to stop waiting. The relief was real. The story of the wait still followed the watch. The gray market exists because the authorized channel cannot or will not meet demand for the most desired references. Independent dealers sell new, unworn pieces at market prices. Sometimes the premium is modest, sometimes it is extreme. Rolex does not officially support this channel, yet it functions as a release valve for the pressure the primary system creates. Then, I discovered the psychological mechanism that makes the entire system work. Behavioral science calls it effort justification. The harder you work for something, the more valuable it feels once you finally receive it. Rolex has turned this principle into a business model. By the time a customer finally gets the call, the watch has already absorbed years of desire, status signaling, and social proof. The weight itself becomes part of the product. A watch that anyone can buy on any Tuesday loses some of its symbolic power. A watch that requires years of relationship building becomes a quiet signal. It says the owner was patient, connected, selected. I wasn't expecting the next layer. The system is deliberately opaque. There is no public ranking, no transparent criteria, no guarantee. Uncertainty keeps people engaged. It keeps them returning to the same dealer. It keeps them buying other pieces in the hope of improving their position. The uncertainty itself has value. Luxury has always used scarcity. What Rolex perfected is the marriage of genuine production constraints with psychological amplification. The watches are well made. The demand is real. The distribution system then concentrates the shortage on the models that carry the most cultural weight, turning a manufacturing decision into a status mechanism. I imagine the workshops in Switzerland, precision machines, skilled hands, quality control that refuses to accelerate beyond a certain point. Rolex has publicly stated that scarcity is not a deliberate strategy. The company says it cannot increase production without reducing quality, and it refuses to do that. Both things can be true. The quality constraint is real. The outcome of controlled scarcity is also real. The brand benefits from the outcome regardless of the stated intention. Then I found one more detail that stopped me. In the decades after Wilsdorf's death, the foundation structure protected the company from the usual pressures that force brands to expand aggressively. While competitors chased volume or public markets, Rolex stayed private. The result was a rare freedom, the ability to say no. The ability to let demand remain higher than supply for the models that mattered most to the culture. That freedom is not accidental. It is structural. By the time I finished the investigation, the original question had inverted. I started by asking why it is so hard to buy a Rolex. The better question is what Rolex is actually selling. It is not selling a more accurate way to tell time. Many cheaper watches keep better time. It is not simply selling craftsmanship, though the craftsmanship is real. It is selling controlled access. It is selling the experience of wanting something that cannot be purchased on demand. It is selling the quiet proof that the owner waited and was eventually chosen. If this changed how you see Rolex, like the video and share it with someone who still thinks luxury is only about the object. The final truth is simple and strange. Rolex doesn't sell watches. It sells waiting. And the waiting is the most expensive part of all. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden business behind Rolex, you'll love our documentaries on why America still prices gold like it's 1973 and how BlackRock quietly took over the world. Watch one of them next. You might never look at money the same way again.